at 2-4, you're thinking, okay, we're going to get mauled by the 49ers on prime time, Monday Night Football. And then at 2-5, we just hope to start losing the rest of the season. But for as a Vikings fan, that can't happen. We need to be more average than bad. Just for the sake, yeah, I know. You say average Kirk, but Kirk was not average. Kirk was sensational in the Monday night game.
Oh yeah,
and it led to Troy Aikman at one point saying he's a top 10 quarterback in football. And some people reacted very positively to that. Some people were arms up in the air. What the hell are you talking about? Of course he's not top 10. We've been saying it on this show the entire year. Kirk Cousins has had a fantastic season. He was great last year, too. If you take him off this Vikings team, they are an utter disaster. Think about what that team looks like if Nick Mullins is leading them. They probably are winless this year. And they probably win 4 games last season. Think about all the 11-0 crazy finishes in the regular season, one-score games. They don't win those without Kirk Cousins. He has been sensational the past season and a half. And when I think about the top 10 quarterbacks in the league, specifically to this year right now, would you guys agree Mahomes has to be in there?
Yep.
Lamar Jackson has to be in there. Josh Allen still, even though he's been up and down,
he's in there.
Probably
the upside of Allen's too high.
The upside of Allen is too high. Jalen Hurts has been up and down a little bit at times too, but he's still on that list above Kirk Cousins for me. I know that you've been loving Matthew Stafford this year, Ziggy, so I'll throw him in there. He's had a great season. But it's close with Kirk. I actually think it's closer than people are saying. And maybe you throw in Tua. But other than those guys right now, like Trevor Lawrence is playing well. You could probably put him in there. Kirk is playing better than Joe Burrow this season.
100%.
Kirk is playing better than Justin Herbert most of this season. Like, he hasn't made many mistakes. And that's 10 right there. Those are 10 quarterbacks if you add Kirk to that list. Jared Goff would be the other guy, maybe Dak. But look at Dak versus the 49ers versus what Kirk just did. It's pretty clear to me that Kirk Cousins is playing top 10 football right now. And that's where I want to ask you guys. I'm all of a sudden at a point as a Vikings fan where I'm returning to that, should we extend him another year and bring him back? Because he's 35. He's getting up there. But when you look that good, I don't want to go back to the Christian Ponder days.
One brief thing on Kirk about him being top 10 or not that I have listed here. He's 6th right now in completion percentage, 2nd in pass yards per game, most pass touchdowns in the league. This team is a total dumpster fire without Kirk Cousins. And that's just an obvious fact. Yeah, I have Tua listed here in the top 10. He's probably number 6 or 7 to me. But are we so sure that if you put Kirk Cousins on Miami, he's just as good, if not better?
Oh, yeah, Tua's numbers are better than Kirk right now, most of the numbers. But I don't know, Zach. Kirk Cousins, he might be, it's not crazy to say he's better than Tua Tagovailoa at all, actually. I think I would take Kirk over Tua.
We're so used to seeing Kirk with a horrible, abysmal offensive line with no protection, these 400-pound guys in his face half a second after he snaps the ball. He was kept upright this entire game against San Francisco. He wasn't sacked at all. And what does he do when he has time? He throws for 400 yards without the best receiver in the world and beats the best team in the NFL. Is he top 10 right now? 100% yes.
I don't know what Kirk Cousins we're seeing this season, because what's the story always been with Kirk Cousins? Those noon, those 1 o'clock kickoffs, those are the times when Kirk Cousins is really good. And then the primetime games are when it falls apart.
1 p.m. Kirk.
I always hated that narrative on Kirk, though.
Yeah, well, his 2 best games this year are at Philadelphia and versus the 49ers, right? Big primetime games. His worst games this year have probably been the Panthers game, the Buccaneers game, the Chargers game.
Bears, we didn't really do anything.
Yeah, the 4 noon games have been far and away his worst games this season.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, 1 o'clock, Kirk Cousins is playing next week. He's going to Green Bay. But, look, Kirk Cousins, I think this is the season where he's going to cast aside a lot of these narratives. The Vikings finally have a really good offense around him. Right, there have been pieces, but I think the offensive line's finally been figured out. I was wrong. Apparently, getting a new guard has really changed things quite a bit for the offensive line.
I was losing my mind when we got Dalton Reisner because it took long enough to watch Ezra Cleveland and Ed Ingram tag team Kirk by themselves. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, Reisner played very well this game. He wasn't perfect, obviously, but he showed awareness. and played the position well. There were a few times. Here's the thing that was most annoying, frankly, about watching the Vikings guards is they were fine to take plays off. If no one was running directly at them, they'd just sort of stand there. Mm-hmm. There were a couple of times when the 49ers, they try and do this a lot, right? They have a creative defensive scheme. They'll send guys trying to create that situation. And Reisner would immediately move and help out whoever was trying to get targeted. So he played well. Kirk played well. The narratives are over. And frankly, if you've got Kirk Cousins that can throw for 400 yards and a couple touchdowns in primetime games, well, he did something similar against the Eagles, right? He put up like 350 and 4 touchdowns. This game was like 380 and a couple touchdowns. Playoffs are back on in Minnesota, Paul.
Yeah, it's almost like when you say Kirk has no chance in this game is when Kirk shines the brightest.
It's Kirktober. We said this at the start of the month. What are we? We're 3-1 in October right now.
Yeah, but then you said this too,
a game
Paul,
out.
As we were watching the game. You're 3-4 right now, and but if you had beaten the Bucs at home, and there's not
Chargers. We had the like the Chargers game. The Vikings should have won.
You had that game. We're sitting here now, and you're 5-2. And we're talking about the potential one seed in the NFC.
No, it's and think about the schedule they have coming up. It would be a much different conversation. Even though I'm still not convinced the team is all that good, it's just they should be 5-2 right now. And those games they lost too aren't really Kirk's fault. Like even the Eagle game, it's not his fault. Jefferson fumbled out of bounds, or the defense allowed a 15-play, 9.5-minute drive. People put the blame on Kirk Cousins. He saves this team.
Any sort of negative connotations around Kirk Cousins ended with this game against San Francisco.
It should.
When he was protected, he tore up the best defense in the league and won the game.
So I totally agree. And when you're thinking about what the Vikings should do here, I'll admit I was very much on team trade Kirk, blow things up. But it seems like Kirk doesn't want to go. The team wants to play. They're not giving up on the season. The Vikings, realistically, now that they've won 3 games, and they're certainly going to win more than 3, right? This is probably at minimum a 6, 7, 8 win team.
It's probably 7 or 8 at minimum, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just 6 is if things go really off the rails. You don't have a better option than Kirk Cousins coming through the door next year, right? Caleb Williams isn't coming. Drake May isn't coming. So you can let Kirk walk for nothing and sort of try and do the thing where you're just rebuilding. This is how you get something like the Christian Ponder era. You're trying to rebuild without the high draft picks that'll get you started. Or you re-sign Kirk. It doesn't cost you anything. He's clearly playing well. Give him one of those like 2 or 3 year deals he really likes, guarantee a lot of money, and just ride it out.
Yeah, they have to keep improving the team around him, which the offense is getting there. But defensively, Brian Flores has done a nice job with really and the team is not that talented on defense, but you're getting some good results from them. They've gotten better as the season's gone on. The blitz rate is crazy. I think it was the highest in something like 5 years or something.
He's calling cover 0 every other play.
It's absurd.
Flores loves the blitz.
He does. But you know what? For what he has, they're making it work. And I'm sitting here thinking the same thing, Ziggy, and that's part of the trap. I said we were in purgatory. This is exactly what purgatory looks like. It's exactly what we predicted, where we're probably not a Super Bowl contending team. We're not. But at the same time, they're good enough and they have enough good players, especially at the quarterback position, where they'll probably walk away with, maybe 9 wins on the season. They could find a way up to 10, but it's going to take a lot to go anywhere beyond a first-round playoff exit.
Yeah, but at this point, though, and I agree with you, I've brought up purgatory about the Vikings on several occasions, but at this point, it's not the fact that Kirk Cousins seems to be the best option, which obviously he is. He seems to be really the only one, because you're not going to get one of those top.
And I don't want to roll with JJ McCarthy. I don't want to. I'm sorry. I know people like him. I don't want to roll with him. I don't want to roll with Bo Nix. Give me Kirk for another 2 years. If he's playing, and the other thing we have to acknowledge, if Kirk's playing at this level, then you take him. How many teams and it's a weird situation where you have a fan base where people are actually wondering, should we give up a top 12 quarterback in football and go and try to start the rebuild when Kirk will still be a top 12 quarterback in football?
This isn't the Derek Carr situation, right?
Yeah.
Derek Carr, the offense wasn't working. He wasn't working. It made sense for both sides to let it go. Kirk Cousins is playing much better. You can see a vision here where the things go well for the Vikings, right? They win a few games. They get that blessed 5 seed.
Yes.
They go to whatever team is in the NFC South and kick their butt. They go to San Francisco and remind the 49ers that they've already beaten them. And then suddenly things are looking okay.
You need, you know what, division. Why not division? I say why not division?
We had this Kirk discussion, but the hypothetical was if Minnesota is sitting here at 1-5 or 1-6, and what do you do? But that's not the case. Like now I'd say, okay, let's go make the playoffs and see what happens.
Yeah, and they've
That's
played,
the best route.
They've played Philly, they've played San Francisco, and they played Kansas City really tough this season.
Yeah, that's 3 of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to sell me on something like this when you're not going to have to say go to Baltimore and then go to Cincinnati and then go to Kansas City. I think the Vikings, because
Philly and San Fran is tough.
I think
no, but you probably have
tough.
to play one of those teams. I'm just saying, like, I can see how the Vikings are talking themselves into this. And now I'm talking myself into it.
No, it's miserable. It's miserable.
Especially, too, because the way the Lions just got sauteed by the best team they've played this year.
It was the perfect weekend to trick you.
Yeah.
It's the perfect one. But you know what? Now
I want to be
we're being led
tricked,
on.
Paul.
Now we're being led on, and we're about to kick the crap out of the Packers.
You want to be tricked.
Yeah. I want to win. I don't want to lose. I want to win. Thank you. Score.
Yeah. It's like Kant's third critique, right? This is just a regulative ideal that we can't help. It's like a necessary condition of the experience of a Vikings fan to delude yourself in this way. There's no other way to exist.
You'll go 10-7 and then go to the divisional round at San Francisco and they'll win by 40.
They'll win by 40 and we'll be picking like 20th.
Yeah.
And then it'll be like, okay.
And we'll pick like 21st.
Yeah.
And not know what to do.